Dobre.
Yeah.
So when you want. So if you want, you can just introduce yourself.
My name is Mikhail Dudoyev. I'm originally from Chechnya. Was born in 1986. Lived in like 15 years. I moved to Norway in 2009, and since then I lived in Norway before I came to Ukraine in 2022.
And maybe can you explain to us what are the reasons you joined during the Second War of Chechnya, and also how was it like for you to join? You were, I guess, 16, 17, 18 at that time, and
Yes, to join to resistance in Chechnya. It was my goal since the start of the second Russian invasion to Chechnya. And I remember too, when I was pretty young, my father told me that when you be a little bit older, then you should fight against the Russians. So he planted in my head too. It was maybe 2000 and 2001. Yes, and I joined them. The first group was in the capital of Ichkeria, in Grozny. It was in 2004 already. And then I was 18 years. This war, if we will look at the Chechen war, and if we will try to simulate it with the Ukrainian war, like a soldier or like a civilians, like a civilians, my example is like a Bucha, because everyone knows Bucha, in Ukraine. So Bucha is like a word of Russian war criminals in Ukraine, And the whole Chechnya was one big Bucha in that time. The things, terrible things, what happened in Bucha, it actually happened every day in all Chechen territory, So,
because we were speaking about 1 million people that died.
Yes, we was speaking in about 300,000 Chechens, which was killed during the First and the Second War, including 30,000 childrens. And no one speak about that. No one actually had access to that information, because Chechnya was like one big prison. You cannot have access to this territory. It was some quite little amount of journalists which went in and out from Chechnya. So, but it was not good enough, to take out, to spread this information. And we was left to this, monster, one by one.
And when you were fighting, have you ever been arrested, or you?
No, I was never arrested. I was I cannot call it kidnapped either. I was taken by Russians and I left it the same day. I was tortured a little bit, but it was enough for me to. I knew actually before what the Russian is, but I cannot say that from that day I recognized them. I knew it before too.
And can you explain? So, what kind of battle did you take part of in Chechnya, and how is it different from your experience in Ukraine?
No, it's quite huge different with the battles in Ukraine. In Chechnya, it was ambushes and scarp operations. You hit and you leave. There is no position wars. There is no trenches. There is no front lines that we can cross and we are safe. Because whole Chechnya was occupied in that time.
So it was a partisan war.
Yes, it was 100 partisan war.
Like hits and
hits and leave. In Grozny, we made some ambushes into Russian vehicles. In wood in the mountains. We did the same, or sometimes we went into the villages, cut off the Russian way to the villages and like clear it off from the Russian supporters, Kadyrov's militias.
Mm. And so after the war, you went to Norway, right?
Yeah.
And then you explained to me that you lived your life, you got married, you had a family.
Yeah, I had a family. I have kids. I have like a stable R4 life, like a work, kids, family, traveling at the summertime to some places, like Europe, Spain.
Perfect European life.
Yes,
And so what made you want it in 2022 to join Ukrainian army? I mean,
yeah, the day Russian crossed the border to Ukraine when they invaded, we went to Freedom March in Oslo. Me and my friends, my Norwegian friends and my Chechen friends, and there, it was already decided, inside of my mind, it was already decided that I should go there. But in that day and that evening, me and my friends will talk about that, when we should go, and because of time, I had my own company there, so I should to find the people who can take over before I leave. So it took some days before I did that, and after that I told to my family that I go on vacation with my friends to Spain, to Barcelona, and I even did that. I buy tickets. I went to Barcelona, spent some days there, took a lot of pictures, Yes, to keep all this, story that I'm still in Barcelona. And it was a really funny situation when I sitting in the car, driving in Kyiv, in some area, and the trees. They painted the trees here in Ukraine.
Yeah.
Not on the same way. I don't think they do the same in Barcelona. And I sent some video over this side to my mother, and hi, how are you doing? I'm still in Barcelona. We have it's good. We have fun. And she asked me why this tree is very not usually they don't have it in Spain, because me and my mother, we went to Gran Canaria in 2016, something like that. So maybe from that time she was a little bit surprised.
And
not so usual.
And how did she
After some time, I think it was after 1.5 months, they came on a news article in Norway, which I was on these two. So,
and how, for instance, your wife and your parents, because you said that your dad said that you had to fight against Russian, but
yes, it was when I was 13, 13 maybe. But yes, they was surprised, and they was really upset, because how you can leave your family, how you can leave your kids, and how you can do that. Or they thought that I just leave them for all. So then I went back to Norway, spent some time with my family and one of my kids, and tried to explain how important this war actually for me and for a Chechen society in Europe, because the only way we can move back to Chechnya is to defeat Russia here in Ukraine. So, and it's really impressive, the same enemy, the same dictator, and the same soldiers, Russian soldiers, which did a lot of war crimes in Chechnya. They did the same stuff here in Ukraine too.
and in Syria.
in Syria. If you can, yeah, you can just open the map and look at the map and point the some countries where Russia was involved. So it's war crimes against humanity, against the people, and it was very personal to me.
And so you arrived, if I remember well, you arrived in April 22, so or March 22.
No, it was the 4th March, I think.
Yeah, March. So you arrived like 10 days after.
Yes.
And so you arrived in Kiev, but back then Kiev was about to being
Yes,
taken.
it was. I have a friend, which I know him from Tchétchènie, but now he's working with very secret services in Ukraine. So I contacted him, and he told like, "Bro, just wait a little bit. Here is like a chaos, because like friendly fires. It, in Kiev in that time it was a real chaos. Maybe you remember some Jews even was killed in the car because they had a like long beard, and people in like a checkpoint thought that it was Kadyrovets.
I did not know.
Yes, it was a really chaos, and he told me like, please wait a little bit, and I wait a little bit, as much I could. And when I crossed the border to Lviv, and it was like a really, like a Second World War when you look at it, like a huge amount of refugees who want to leave Ukraine, go out, and like almost nobody which go in the other direction,
I remember well.
Yes, so it was me and my friend who was together, was meet up at the border, across the border, went to Lviv, from the Lviv to Kiev, so it was like a one-way, like a direction which all people moved to go to out of the Ukraine, but almost nobody.
Yeah, it was crazy. I remember well. I was on the queue. I was just with foreign fighters at the border, and you had a lot of Americans trying to get.
Yes, Przemyśl, in the Przemyśl, it was.
And did you expect Ukraine to resist so much against Russia? Mm-hmm. Did you expect
that Ukraine will stay hold out?
Yeah, for 3 years now, and then Battle of Kiev.
I remember I have a conversation with my friend, with my Norwegian friend, about that. In the first day, like I told him, Ukraine should hold out 3 days, and then when they realize that they actually can beat Russians, that Russians can die, they can be killed and beat. So when they realize that, it was like the moment. If they do that, so they can hold out in the future, because Ukraine is a big country. Ukraine is like they have a military actually. In that time too, we fought against Russia with these weapons that it's really funny to think about it now. So we could fight them with that type of weapons. And I was sure that Ukraine will stand and hold up if they will hold these 3 days.
And now fast forward like 3 years, because now we're speaking is February 17, so it's almost like the third year of the war. I mean, full-scale war. Did you expect? Because you went to Bakhmut, you went to Soledar, if I remember well.
No, Soledar.
I mean, Kherson,
Kherson,
counteroffensive, and
Bodanivka, Chasov.
Did you expect Ukraine to achieve that much on the battlefield, or are you disappointed?
I didn't expect that the war will take so long time, because I waiting for like a lot of support from the Western countries, from the USA, much more than we get it 2022. I thought that maybe 1 or 2 years we will defeat Russia. I actually was, I didn't realize, I didn't know that Russia can fight in so long times, because The military was corrupt, the whole government was corrupt. The only thing they did, it was like to steal money from own country. But still, yes.
How do you explain the fact that Russia is still able, like, to fight with this number of casualties? And
it's like, you know, it's complicated because first of all, it's Russia in general, a country, they lose 1 million of own population each year without a war because of some reasons, you know, road accidents, alcohol, drugs, you know. Yes, the demographic was falling down anyway, so for Russia to lose like 1 million people at the war with Ukraine, or like without the war, it's not so big different, not so big lose. Of course, they in the war they loosen the man, like from the 18 like to 15 years, like, of course, yes, but they
casualties.
Yes, they took all prisoners from prisons, like some couple of amounts prisoners, like total empty now. Yes, if we look like in a humanity resources, it's not so big different for Russia. They have old Soviet produced weapons, tanks, armored vehicles, so they can hold it in this temper, you know. But Ukraine, I mean, if we get all this support and help in 2022 in the first offensive against you know, Russia, so we should actually did much more than we did then. So
yeah, I agree.
And you know, when you look like at news, like Russia, they get support from even North Korean soldiers which fighting in Kursk region in Russia. They don't actually give a shit about what you will think, like about escalating or de-escalating this conflict. They get a really huge support of a ballistic system from Iran and the Shahid drones, which they use. They don't care, you know. They don't care what USA or what Genevan Convention will think about it. They just do the stuff. But here, when we get some, like, you know, ATACMS or some kind of weapons, it was very limited where you can use it and when you can use it. And even some drones, which was on the way to attack the Kerch bridge, was cut off internet of the satellites, you know. You know, there's some like little details, but it's playing like a huge role in the big game. So,
no, definitely. And so now, and I think, you know, fast forward 3 years, now we're like new president at the White House. Donald Trump doesn't seem to be so keen to help Ukraine. The way he speaks sounds more like pro-Kremlin rhetoric all the time, narrative. And what you yourself based on, because like to explain for like the video that during the first war of Chechnya, like Tchétchènes were able to defeat to some extent Russia on the battlefield, but they had some kind of ceasefire. I speak under your
yes.
guidance because you know much better than I do. So they signed a peace agreement, but the peace agreement was broken right away by Russia, and they were able like to sweep across Chechnya and win eventually the Second War. So you yourself, as someone that fought during the Second War, but also lived through the First War of Chechnya, and now if you look at the war in Ukraine, war against Ukraine, do you see some kind of parallel, and what kind of mistake we should avoid making it regarding peace negotiations and all of that, or your general point of view on the maybe upcoming negotiations?
Yes, maybe negotiations. What can I say about that, Les? Of course, if you ask anyone from Chechnya, get some kind of flashback from the negotiation in 1996 and 7. Peace agreement with Russia have no more value in the paper what wasn't signed on, you know. So Ukraine should be very careful about that. Peace negotiation, it's mean like if we cancel all like sanctions against Russia, it's victory for Putin and his propaganda, and he will use that to split Ukrainian people, like he did in Chechnya after first Russian Chechen war. He will use all resources to take the control over whole Ukraine. He will not stop with this peace agreement or negotiations about frozen this conflict, you know. So we don't let them use this time, you know, to split us and to rebuild the army, rebuild the resources, you know. And I'm 100% sure that in one day after this negotiation, like it sounds today, you know, it's a whole green light for Putin. Just take a breath, take a pause now, and you coming back later.
But also, I agree with you. But also, for the Ukrainian army, like taking a break. At least licking their wounds. How do you see, for instance, like Ukraine being able to rebuild?
I mean, if we talk about negotiations, we can actually press and push to Putin's system much harder than we do now, you know, if we want really peace negotiations. If we want to use this break for a Ukrainian side too, we can make it, yes, of course. I'm like not like, oh, we should fight, no, non-stop. No, I'm not talking about that. Ukrainian people should decide. But the negotiations between Trump and Putin, this is capitulation. You know what I mean? If Trump's mean like we can trust Putin, but in the one hand he say that, and on the second hand he like, no, we wouldn't say American troops to Ukraine, and he wouldn't want to send European troops, which is under the NATO protections, you know. So, what do you mean? Like you can't trust him, but you want to send your troops there?
But do you
because you know you can't trust him, you know.
Mm-hmm. But do you think that even if there is European troops, do you think Putin is going to bother much?
I think, you know, the things that I'm very afraid for, it's not even like a military machine, Russia or Putin, but European Union will be split, you know, after this Putin's victory. Pro-Russians power, you know, like some countries in Europe will rise up. NATO not seems like so strong organization that it was before, you know, if we couldn't support our allies, Ukraine. So I think this Putin's victory will, yes, help, like right wings in Europe, they will rise up, and yes, it's like a domino effect, you know. It's not only in Ukraine in the battlefield. Will happen a lot of things in whole Europe system, you know.
But how do you define a victory? Because in one hand, the Ukrainian army is still holding.
Yes.
Russia doesn't have Donbass, and
not all Donbass.
No, but I mean, like
they have a corridor to Crimea.
Yeah.
They have it. They're all talking about, like, you know, they fighting against NATO in Russian, you know, community and propaganda, and the things that Trump talking about, like to crack down all sanctions against Russia. Think about how much money will like go into Russia.
Yeah, but at the same time, what is interesting is that
But
Trump,
without these sanctions, he will rebuild his 30% of Russian economy go into military right now. With this economy here I have now, it with the sanctions, you know, like without access to all these microchips he need. But if these sanctions go down, what he gonna do with his military? What he gonna do with this European his lobbies? So it's not good future for me. Maybe I like a two how it called how it's called, you know, it finds like maybe too pessimistic, maybe, but that's how I see this.
mm-hmm. And what people are saying among other fighters of your battalion, like Chechen?
No, some people they think this break will be good, that we can use this, and of course we can and we should use this break, you know, to rebuild our military or work with our battalion. For me, for example, I have a lot of work to do with my battalion. Maybe near people, near groups, higher qualifications. Yes, of course we will do that. Mm-hmm. But our enemy gonna do that in maybe 10 times more than us.
Yeah. So yeah, because I mean, like, there's a conversation.
I mean, we're it's not my homeland. I can decide what people should do here, you know. Mm-hmm. I'm like a guest here. I will accept any choice they do. But I mean, it's like people suffer it. They died for this country. Like hundreds and thousands of people who give their life for this land. And I mean, it's too cynical. Like two people can sit on a table and decide, you know, what the future Ukrainian will have.
With Jesus in their mouth.
Yes.
Yeah, I know. No, but thank you very much. It was very interesting. Maybe you have a final word that you want to say?
Keep your head up. Don't give up.
Slava Ukraini.
Героям слава.